प्रसीद प्रसीद मातः जगतोऽखिलस्य प्रसीद विश्वेश्वरि पाहि विश्वं त्वमीश्वरी देवी चराचरस्य त्वं वैष्णवी शक्तिरनन्तवीर्या विश्वस्य बीजं परमासि माया सम्मोहितं देवि समस्तमेतत् त्वं वै प्रसन्ना भुवि मुक्तिहेतुः सिंहस्था शशिशेखरामरकत प्रख्यैश्चतुर्भिर्भुजैः शङ्खं चक्रधनुः शरश्च ददति नेत्रैस्त्रिभिः शोभिता काञ्चीरणन्नूपुरा
Matre Namaha. Here I briefly try to introduce Devi Mahatmyam, which is the glory of the goddess. The purpose of bringing out this knowledge is to bring this connection to Devi, who is the mother of all, the Jagannatha, and to bring this connection through transcendence, transcending her name, her form, her stotras, and the Brahma Vidya from her. The whole purpose is to have union with Mata, the whole purpose is to be one with her and gain the God consciousness and attain salvation and bliss in this lifetime. I have been celebrating Navaratri from my childhood, but it is only after I learned Transcendental Meditation and learned the art of transcendence and gaining the dhyana samadhis that I realized that I could connect to Devi through my transcendence. I could reach her, who is the transcendent, through this art of transcendence. I would transcend the puja, I would transcend this Parayanam, the Devi Mahatmyam, and experience the finer and finer states of Devi in her form and also her glorious chantings of the stotras. Her celestial experiences would come in the very subtle fields of the celestial experience. If I could transcend further and beyond these celestial experiences and these celestial fields, then one would arrive at the transcendent, the Devi, which is the pure consciousness. Here she is the pure consciousness, the self of all, and no different from Shiva. And then the revelation comes that she and I are the same pure consciousness, the same self. And this is how Jagannatha reveals to her devotees that she is not just the mother, but she is the self of all. And in doing so, she gives the self-realization and the God realization to the devotee. During this time of Navaratri, her consciousness is so high and it is so easy to transcend and attain her grace and be one with her. But the only way one can be one with her is by transcending the grosser aspects and continue the inner journey through the whole range of this relative field, which is none other than Jagannatha, because it is the field of relativity. It is the field of change and it is the field of Prakriti. And then arrive at the absolute consciousness, which is the Transcendental Mother, the Parameshwari. And one can arrive at transcendence through a mantra or through pure devotion and love, or at experiencing the subtler fields of a name and form, or experiencing through the senses. But the easiest is the word, the thought. During this Navaratri, the evolution becomes so rapid, and actually it is said that 9 days are enough for someone to attain salvation, become Jivan Mukta. Let me now give a brief introduction of this Devi Mahatmyam. This is also known as Durga Saptashati, and it is one of the foremost texts in the worship of the goddess. This Devi Mahatmyam, which is the glory of the goddess, is a part of the Markandeya Purana, and it has about 700 slokas of Sri Durga. And this is usually recited during Navaratri, which is the 9 nights, the festival of Durga Ma. There are 13 chapters. The first chapter is dedicated to Sri Mahakali, and the next 3 are dedicated to Sri Mahalakshmi, and then 6 chapters are dedicated to Sri Mahasaraswati. And then the concluding chapters, starting from 11 to 13, bring the hymn of Narayani and also the benefits of this Parayanam, etc. This signifies the progression of a jiva from tamasic to rajasic to sattvic, and finally obtaining liberation. There are 4 Navaratris in the year, but the Sharada Navaratri, which comes at the autumn time, is most celebrated. It starts on the first day of the month Ashwin, when the new moon with the sun in Virgo in Vedic astrology happens. The 10th day of Sharada Navaratri is called Dasara or Vijayadashami, which is also called the Victory Day. The other 3 Navaratris are the Vasanta Navaratri, which comes in the spring in the months of March and April, and then the Ashada Navaratri, which comes in the months of June and July, and Magha Navaratri, which comes in the months of December and January. Essentially, these times when the Navaratri is coming during the different seasons is actually when the seasons are changing. And so in general, when the seasons are changing, then there are a lot of changes and imbalances are seen in an individual and also in the environment. So one needs to be cautious and one needs extra protection, because if not, one can even face dangerous consequences, not only on an individual level, but also in the whole of the environment and on the cosmic level. And that is why these Navaratris are celebrated throughout the year as 4 Navaratris. When I was in Himalayas, I met quite a few who would celebrate all the 4 and with utmost dedication to Devi. So their lives are entirely dedicated to Devi. So this Devi Mahatmyam, it consists of the chapters 74 to 86, which are 13 chapters of the Markandeya Purana. And the Purana itself is authored by the Enlightened Vedavyasa. These are not just stories, these are actual happenings. So they are not mythological, as some people say. These are actual happenings. They are given as a story form by Vedavyasa and are told by sage Markandeya to sage Bhaguri. Sage Bhaguri in turns tells these stories to one king called Suratha and to one Vaisya, a businessman called Samadhi. King Suratha was driven out of his kingdom by his own people, and Samadhi also was driven out of his home by his wife and sons, and they both meet in the forest. Both of these were driven out by their own people, and yet through their suffering they are still attached to their kith and kin and attached to their kingdom and work, and continue worrying about the welfare of their people whom they left behind. The king is worrying about not only his family but also his subjects and the people in the country. And Samadhi is worried about his own family. So, unable to understand the complexity of this delusion and the illusion of their mind and the existence in this world, they approach sage Sumedhas, who was also living in the forest. So the sage tells them that all of this illusion is created by the great goddess called Vishnu Maya. And so Suratha and Samadhi then become curious and want to know about this great mother goddess. And he relates to them the story of this Devi Mahatmyam, which consists of 3 stories, and in all of which the mother goddess kills the enemies of gods and the devatas. The first story is that of Madhu and Kaitaba. The second story is of how Mother Goddess helped the Devas by killing Mahishasura. And the third story is how the great Asura brothers Shumbha and Nishumbha were killed by the goddess. Devi Mahatmya is a story but has 700 slokas, and each sloka is considered as a mantra. There is a set way of reading the book, the Parayanam. And so if one wants to do the puja and do the Parayanam, then it is better to follow the set pattern. During this time, almost all the people who are serious devotees also follow a vratam, which means they follow a certain discipline, eat just sattvic food or light food, or fast during the days, maintain sattvic behavior, sattvic environment, and completely immerse themselves in dhyana samadhi, that means meditation, and doing the puja and following the set protocols as per the tradition. In general, when one is reading, then the entire Devi Mahatmya should be read in one sitting. For those who cannot follow this, then there is another method of completing the full reading by 7 days is described. So the first chapter is read on the first day, and the next 2 chapters on the second day, and then next 1 chapter on the third day, followed by next 4 chapters on the 4th day, and then the next 2 chapters on the 5th day, and again next 1 chapter on the 6th day, and the last 2 chapters on the 7th day. And this is how in a period of 7 days then the Parayanam of the whole book is done. So one who wants to transcend during this, doing the Parayanam, while listening to the Devi Mahatmya Stotram, then it is better to follow the same guidelines. Either you stay through the whole of the Devi Mahatmya Stotram, or you divide it and complete it in 7 days. So for now I will end here, and I will continue tomorrow with the significance of Devi Mahatmya. Om Sri Matre Namaha. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Jai Gurudev.
Na
Sri Matre Namaha. Here is the meaning to this beautiful stotra, the Bhagavati stotra. Victory to you, O Divine Goddess. My salutations to you, who are the giver of boons. Victory to you, O Devi, who are the destroyer of sins and bestower of many fruits. Victory to you, O Devi, who wear the heads of sinful demons, Shumbha and Nishumbha, after slaying them. I bow to you, O Devi, who indeed is the remover of pains of human beings. Victory to you, O Devi, who wear the sun and the moon as her eyes. Victory to you, O Devi, whose beautiful face is adorned by the glow of fire. Victory to you, O Devi, who as the Supreme Being fused her body with that of Bhairava as Ardhanarishvara. Victory to you, O Devi, who dried up the strength of demon Andhaka, who was known for his wickedness. Victory to you, O Devi, who crushed the demon Mahishasura with a trident in hand. Victory to you, O Devi, who destroys the sins in all the worlds. Victory to you, O Devi, to whom Pitamaha Brahma and Bhagavan Vishnu bow down. Victory to you, O Devi, to whom the sun god and the other devas bow down. Victory to you, O Devi, who is praised by Lord Shanmukha, the six-faced Kartikeya, adorned with various weapons. Victory to you, O Devi, who is praised by Lord Shiva, seeing you flowing towards the ocean as river Ganga. You as Ganga is here for the welfare of mankind. Victory to you, O Devi, who destroys all sorrows and all poverty. Victory to you, O Devi, who augments our fortune by providing us with children and spouses. Victory to you, O Devi, who take the form of all the bodies and yet remaining as the underlying pure consciousness. Victory to you, O Devi, who bestows the vision of spiritual sky during meditation and thus destroying the root of our sorrow, which is our spiritual ignorance. Victory to you, O Devi, who destroy the diseases which are obstructing our spiritual progress and finally grant liberation, which brings the end to the delusion of samsara. Victory to you, O Devi, who thus grants our wishes and takes us towards the most excellent siddhi of spiritual fulfillment. Om Jai Bhagavati Devi Namo Varate. Om Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu.